Bambu Lab has released a new printer, but what's interesting about this one is it's kind of their first sequel printer. This is the P2S, obviously the follow-up to the P1S. Up until now, they've usually just done different iterations, beefed up or stripped down versions of other printers like the P1P to the P1S or the H2D to the H2S, but now they're following up with an actual sequel printer. So let's see what they've added to this printer and see what changes they've made. All right, so right on top we have the instructions. Now, I always like to look at these instructions because it gives you some unboxing advice. I've opened many of these printers by now. I expect it's gonna be pretty similar, but I'm gonna take a look anyways. So on top, it looks like we have the accessory box. You can take a look at what's inside here. Just some of the tools. So we have our Allen keys. Now there's no extra hot end in this one, I'm noticing. And we have our grease and our oil here. Pull off this packaging here, lift this cardboard out, and there's a bit more foam in here. And then at this point, I think we can lift the printer out. All right. And we can undo this packaging here, pull off this protective barrier. And one thing I noticed right away while unboxing is these nice handles on the side, just like the H2Ds have. And it's just much easier to lift up and carry around. Not that it's a heavy printer, but this just makes it so much easier. All right, now we can take the top cover off here. I'm just gonna keep this to the side for now, but we can open that up while we're here. Just take this plastic off. And now we're gonna remove the AMS. So we can just start by removing some of this packaging here. Remove the other accessory box, which can also take a look at while we're here. All right, so there's that new screen that I heard about. Looks really nice. And we have just our power cords, our AMS cables here. Looks like our side spool holder. And then here is our PTFE tubes. So typical stuff in your Bambu Lab box. So wherever there's a red circle, remove those screws because that's just for packaging. Now the AMS is free to lift out the top. And this is the AMS 2 Pro. That's the one that came with the H2D. This is the new generation that I assume will be with all their printers going forward. And also make sure to remove these red covers. Just pull them down and then out. Now we can install the screen. So you're just gonna plug it in firmly. Press it on and then slide it to the left to lock it in place, and that's it. Now cut off all these zip ties. So inside the AMS here, the desiccant packs in the back. We're just gonna remove that. And all you're gonna do is open them up, remove that plastic, and put them right back where they were. And then remove this foam piece in the front. All right, so now we can put the glass cover on the top, followed by the AMS. Now we're gonna plug the 6-pin cable into the back of the AMS. Either slot will do, and then to the top of the buffer here. Now we can take the PTFE tube, plug it into the AMS, then into either of these buffer slots, and then this goes into the printer. Now we can plug in our power cord here. So when you first start up your printer, you're gonna get a QR code. Once you download the Bambu Handy app, you can just go to the plus here, then you'll scan it and that'll bind it to your account. And now we can do the calibration setup. So now let's take a look at our test prints. So first up, we have our Benchy. Now, this Benchy probably doesn't look too good to you, but what I did with this Benchy was I was actually just trying to test some of the new AI features on this printer. Those are features that the P1S didn't have, but the newer printers like the H2D do have. So for this one, I was trying to test the spaghetti detection. So I basically just let this print run for a little bit until it was on there, good and secure, and then I just knocked it off with a stick just to see what happens. So if you're looking at the video, you can see it did run for a little bit, but it was under a minute, and as soon as it started to detect that spaghetti, it paused the printer for me to let me know there was a failure. And at that point, it gave me the opportunity to either resume the print if the defects were acceptable or to cancel it. Now in this case, obviously I was gonna cancel it because that was a completely failed print, But if you had some minor imperfections that didn't affect the final result too much, you could have just let it resume. And then while I was there, I thought I would test another one of the AI detection methods, which detects if there's something on the bed at the start of a print. So I just left my previous print on the bed, started a print as normal, just to see if it would print, and it was able to very quickly detect that there's still an object on the bed, and I was able to stop it before any damage could happen, because if I had a really big print on there that was really secured and that head runs into it, that could cause some damage. Now onto some actual test prints. And first up here, I have this flexible dragon. Now I like these flexible prints for these tests because if your printer is not tuned very well, it will show in these prints. You'll get stringing, you'll get bad bed adhesion, and you'll get bad quality. But in this case, it looks really good. I think Bambu Lab has gone to a very consistent level of quality at this point. I wouldn't say this is any better than the P2S. It is at that level of quality that Bambu has across the board at this point. And I also went with the silk PLAs because those can also cause a lot of stringing. And in this model, I think it looks great. There was almost no stringing at all. And overall, this printer did a really good job with it. And next up, keeping on that dragon theme, I printed one of these dragon eggs in a tricolor filament this time, a silk PLA. And it turned out really nice as well. Now I went with this filament because I have noticed when I've used it before, it had quite a bit of stringing, but in this case, it looks really good. There are a slight bit of those, almost like hair-like strands on it, but it kept those down to a minimum compared to other printers I've used it on. Like even the H2D and the H2S, all those printers show some of this. Another thing with these silk PLAs, they also show those imperfections like the ringing and ghosting if you have that present in your printer, and it is very minimal on this. Overall, looks really good. The layers are very consistent throughout, and there is no weird artifacts on it. And next up, I printed something out of a material I've never printed with before, and that is PMMA, that's PMMA, which is also known as acrylic or plexiglass. Now this was kind of an interesting filament to work with because there's no presets for this material in the Bambu slicer, not from generic or through Bambu. So I had to do a bit of my own experimentation here, and I think I got a really good setting that turned out really nice. So the thing with this material is that when printed right, it'll look very transparent. And one of the ways to make it more transparent is to use a 0.6 or a 0.8 millimeter nozzle. So I decided to go with the 0.6 nozzle because I have one of those on my H2D, which is another nice thing about this printer. It uses the same nozzles as the H2 series printers, so the H2S and the H2D. So if you already have those printers and you have multiple nozzle sets like I do, I like to have my 0.4s for most prints and then 0.6 and 0.8 once in a while, or even the 0.2. It's nice that I can just have one set and use it on whatever printer I'm using at the moment now. So I'm hoping Bambu Lab going forward just uses that same nozzle on everything because it is really convenient and they're also really easy to swap out. You can do it in basically 30 seconds. It's just so easy. This is actually the easiest one of all the printers, I would say, because, well, obviously it's easier than the H2D because that's two nozzles. This is a single nozzle with a magnetic cover that pops off and you can change it out so quickly. I am a really big fan of this nozzle setup. So I use the 0.6 nozzle to give it those thick, tall layers. I use basically the maximum layer height you can, and it looks really good, nice and transparent. You can see through it pretty well. And another interesting thing about this material is you can vapor smooth it, which I haven't tried yet, but I think I want to try that next. So it was really fun trying to figure out how to use a new material on this printer, and it printed it very well, despite me kind of just playing around with the settings. And then finally, to go with the P2S and the multicolor system, I printed the poop chute. Now, something a little weird happened with this print. It does look a little rough, and that is because I went without a prime tower. Now, normally you'd use a prime tower with multicolor prints because after each color change, you want to repressurize the nozzle so the next line comes out nice. Now, this is a single color print, but I had my special time-lapse camera set up, and what it does is it moves the nozzle out of the way so I can take a picture. Now, doing that, it's like doing your color change. You're moving it out of the way, it's pausing for a second, you need to get the pressure back up. So those do need a prime tower. So I decided, well, this is a functional print. I don't really want a prime tower. I'm just gonna see what happens. Now this can kind of relate to if you're doing multicolor prints as well. This is what will happen if you decide to go without that prime tower. You get a little bit of rough edges here and there as there's no pressure. So that split second of printing on the next layer might not have any filament shooting out. So you're getting small little gaps on every layer. So I think this is a good example of the quality you might get if you decide to go without a prime tower on your multicolor prints or your special time-lapse camera setup prints. So after going over this printer and using it for a few weeks, I think Bambu Lab really did listen to any concerns people had with the P1S and addressed it and fixed it in the P2S. All those little ease of use features are really nice to have, such as the screen, the improvements of the AMS2. They basically took all the things people criticized about the P1S and fixed it and repackaged it all at about the same price as the launch of the P1S. So you're getting all these new features without the additional cost. And a little side benefit is now the P1S itself is even cheaper. It's basically on sale everywhere, and I imagine it's gonna stay at that lower price for a while. So if you want the P1S, it's still a good time to buy it. And if you want all the little bonus features of the P2S, this is a great option as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.